Davies in the middle. Checks back against Carter and scores. That is atypical for the Amina Margot.
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. The Gunners are WSL champions.
Good evening and welcome to the second ever episode of the Vic Akers Wonderland with me, Lottie, and of course, Adam Salter. How are you doing?
Good evening. Yes, I'm well. It's been a long week. Lots of stuff's happened. Lots to talk about. Breaking news from today. Some action during the week, and it doesn't stop yet. We've got more to come tomorrow, so plenty to discuss.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, so I think the biggest news at the moment is the quarterfinal draws for the Champions League. I mean, it's so good just to have the Champions League put to Arsenal's name. We're still the only English team that's won it.
Yes.
And there's a certain manager out there that will never be a champion of Europe with Chelsea. And we absolutely love it.
No, the only way she's going to do it is if she's an assistant to Vic Akers at the Arsenal.
Yes, that is true. You held your horses. I would have got there in the end. Yeah. But anyway, back to this year's quarterfinal draw. We were first out the hat. Winner of the group out the hat, which was absolutely fantastic because as I was watching it, my internet cut. So it's a lovely spot in London Highgate, but it's not good for anybody's network.
I actually forgot it was on. I completely forgot it was on, and I just looked at my clock. And I looked at the clock, and I just happened to see it was 12 o'clock, and I was like, "Oh snap! Quick, get the feed on. I need to find out what's going on." And you get the whole build up, and you get all the talk about all the teams and things that happen.
It was really good to see Ellen White, though.
Yes, Ellen White and
really
Ellen
good.
and her child. Well, we can't see her yet, but it's there.
You can see Bump exactly.
Is that the first time a Bump has been involved in a draw? It was a two-person job,
so.
That draw. Yeah, I mean,
no, definitely. But Ellen did do us a favour for me. We've got the preferable draw of Bayern Munich.
Yeah, well,
which quite excited about. And then she pulled out Lyon and Chelsea, Roma and Barcelona, PSG and Wolfsburg. I think I know why you're laughing. You're hoping Lyon kicks some butt, Chelsea's butt. Is that why you're chuckling over there?
I mean, there's so many layers to this whole draw. I mean, where to begin? Yeah. We'll start obviously with Arsenal, Bayern. That's actually quite personal to me because that is the first Arsenal women's game I ever went to see. It was a friendly at the Emirates Cup.
Oh wow!
So there is an element of full circle there. Yes, when that happened, I thought. Obviously, the ideal tie is Roma. I feel so sorry for Roma because it's amazing they got to the knockout round, but that was the one that the vultures were circling around. That was the one I wanted. And of course, Barcelona got it. So no, very happy to see Lyon and Chelsea play off against one another. But at the same time, this is a Lyon side that I don't know. They're the reigning champions, but they drew at home to drew home and away to Juve. Sorry. And we beat them in their own patch 5-1, and they've got injury problems. So
I've got to say, it's the best Champions League game I've seen, and I've only been with the women for 2 seasons.
Yeah,
I've watched us get spanked by Barcelona in the October, the first season. Then I saw Wolfsburg.
Yeah, that wasn't.
I will say that is one of my favourite games. It was my first live Arsenal goal, thanks to Lotta. So it was just. Yeah, it was even more important, even though it was just a draw.
It was a draw, but it was a dramatic draw, and they're the best kind.
It was, but did Tobin really mean that pass?
Oh, we could argue that till the cows come home, quite frankly.
Exactly. I'm just going to say, for safe argument's sake, yes.
Yeah.
Because I just loved that goal.
It was a great moment, and like I said, for that one, I was with some friends, and I wanted them to at least come away with something, and it was just a bit of Champions League drama.
We were all on club level. You were on the next block along from us, weren't you?
It was a pretty good experience, and sadly we couldn't do it in the away leg for a variety of reasons. But at the same time, that was sort of our level. Looking at the draw, Obviously, our season's been compromised with the long-term absentees. So getting Bayern Munich in the quarterfinal it's probably, I would actually say it's probably the hardest draw we could have got. I think because it would have been PSG. Either Bayern or PSG would have been the hard ones. But I think Bayern are good. They beat Barcelona in the group stage. They actually tied for points with Barcelona. They only just came second, and they've got the likes of Georgia Stanway in there as well. So we get a replay of the McCabe Georgia Stanway rivalry, which is worth looking forward to.
Yeah, I think that's one of the one of the reasons I got really excited. If I'm honest with you, I saw them come out. I got excited. I said, yes, it's not Wolfsburg. Can't be Lyon.
Can't be Lyon.
And it wasn't Barcelona. I love watching Barcelona, but I do not like Barcelona.
No, Barcelona the team you want to see everybody else play, but you.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
as I said, our season has been compromised somewhat, and if it is play Barcelona and we were to go out to Barcelona, if we would play Bayern Munich and we go out to Bayern Munich, then I go, yeah, you know what, that's pretty, and put on a good show, get a few goals, but Bayern are more experienced at this level, and if they beat us, I'll go, yeah, fair enough, that's probably our level. We're a bit bad luck, we move on. Saying that, and this is probably the next bit you're going to come to, if we were to beat Bayern Munich, suddenly the draw opens up, because suddenly we're not on the side of the Chelsea side of a draw or the Barcelona side of a draw. We're on the side of a draw. PSG and PSG and Wolfsburg is the other side of it. So all of a sudden you've got Lyon, Chelsea, Barcelona, and Leicester and Roma on one side, and you're thinking, well, if I was it's going to be one of Barcelona, Chelsea, or Lyon getting through that, and then for us, I think we've got a better chance against it. Maybe that's arrogance because obviously we lost to Wolfsburg, but it's certainly, I wouldn't say it's an easy run, but it's the least difficult out of the two paths. But if I was a hunch, I'm going to both. I'm going to try and get to both games because it's going to be amazing. But I think this might be where our run ends. But I don't think we would leave the credit in the bank, certainly, and it'd be interesting to see how it plays out. Hopefully we can get a good crowd in for both games. Obviously both in the men's stadiums because of VAR gets introduced, the technology we all love. So yes, what?
It's not too bad in the women's game. It's the men's game that is an issue.
And we could have redone it in that Lyon game. So so there's lots to look forward to there. Interesting to see how Chelsea fare. They've obviously they've got the hospital pass of Lyon. And Emma Hayes will want Chelsea to go far. And if they were to beat Lyon and probably play against Barcelona, which would be a cracking tie, they're going to even Europe. That might split their focus, and they might prioritise Champions League over the WSL. Just like how we think maybe Man City might do the same with the Champions League and the Prem. So there's lots to come up. It all kicks off again. I think it's 21st, 22nd of March next month, and the and 29th. So Arsenal. 21st of March at the Allianz Arena in Munich, and then 29th of March at Emirates Stadium. So keep an eye out when the tickets come available, and make sure you get some because we need support.
Oh no, 100%. I mean, I got a notification for early bird tickets for the 16th of this month for Bayern Munich. If anyone wants to go, I know we'll all be there, including Matt, who unfortunately couldn't make it tonight because it's his mum's birthday. I do want to say a very happy birthday to her, and I hope she's having a wonderful day.
Likewise.
But Matt will be back for the next episode, and I've actually got some of Matt's thoughts to upload onto the channel. So if you want to get Matt's thoughts on Champions League or the Conti Cup or upcoming Man City game, they will be on the channel if you want to have a look. Right. Do you know what? I just really hope, at this point, from a non-Arsenal point of view, I really hope Lyon turn up at home. I really do.
They didn't last time.
When we went over there after the group stage, I think it just had to be said. I've been itching to talk about this all day, but I need Lyon to turn up.
They do. They have only won one game at home in the Champions League this season, which is mad. But that's so, which was unfortunately against Zurich because unfortunately everybody beat Zurich. That's that this year. So they need a performance. And Chelsea, Chelsea and Lyon, they've had history. They've played before. When Chelsea got to the semis a few years ago, they only lost 3-2 in aggregate to Lyon. It's a very close two-legged affair.
It's no discredit to Chelsea. All these teams are there for a reason.
Yeah.
But because I'm an Arsenal fan. I don't like Chelsea.
No,
we're all the same. I mean, what do you say if I say, what do you think of Chelsea, Adam? I mean, there's a new chant up at Meadow Park. We know this one.
But sadly, this children can watch this. So I'll just simply say that we don't think highly of them, and then we'll move on from there.
No, exactly. Anyway, enough talk about Chelsea. This isn't an Arsenal women podcast. Let's just get rid of them. But yeah, I think apart from, I think for me, Bayern is the second best choice. It's a fixture I haven't seen. That is mostly what's pulled me towards it. I don't know how good PSG are. Don't know how good Roma are, because I haven't watched enough of them.
No, well, it's simply Roma is they're not as good as Juventus, but they've obviously, because Juventus won the league last season in Italy, they're going to lose to Barcelona. Sorry, spoiler alert, but that's just going to happen. I mean, it's just unfortunate. Bayern Munich are good. Bayern Munich are tussling with Wolfsburg at the top of the Bundesliga, and PSG obviously tussling with the top of Lyon. So that's the sort of level we're at. And
I've been enjoying seeing Georgia Stanway do it really well out there as well. I'm enjoying it. I miss her, but we all miss her. She's doing well.
We don't miss her tackles, but we do miss her. We do miss her goals.
When you watched her play as a neutral, I enjoyed watching it. As long as she's not playing us, all good.
I learned to love Georgia Stanway during the Euros when she scored that late win against Spain, and that was that moment. That would be like, okay.
I remember you were down in Brighton for that.
I missed that one. I had to watch it from home, but I was there for the Norway game when she scored.
Brilliant.
But that's a goal against Spain. That was top. That was.
No, 100%. Oh well, now we've got all the Champions League out the way. We're gonna rewind time and go back to our semi-final against Man City. Me and you were standing in the stands together.
Yep.
It was electric.
It was.
I don't know what it is. Is it me, or is there something special about hearing North London Forever sung in that? I know it's a small ground. It's nothing compared to the Emirates, but it's absolutely magic at the women's game. It really is. It just gives me goosebumps. Exactly the same as it does at the Emirates.
It's getting traction.
What are your opinions on it?
Yeah, it's getting traction. So certainly, I normally sit in the East Stand, but as this was a cup tie, I moved over to the North Bank, and I'll be honest. Normally, when the sound comes on, hardly anyone sings it. But this recently, obviously, in the North Bank, there've been changes, and there's a group forming there who sing and are growing in force, and that song, did get a proper rendition this time around from the North Bank, and it's a special song, and it's a unification song, because it gets everybody, sing along if you know the words. Everybody's in tune, and it just gets them all psyched up and ready for the show. And even if you don't sing along, you still applaud at the end, and it just sort of gets everyone sort of focused into a sort of focal point towards the game. So everyone's away from their phones, there's not gossiping, it's all on the game now. And it's getting there. We're hearing it more and more, and long may that continue. And I know it's much loved by many, and I enjoy singing along, and I think many others do.
Yeah, no, the first half, the first 90 minutes we went nil toe to toe with City. There was some pushing and shoving, which
it did get
there
a bit
was
physical.
No cards for, but I think our girls gave as good as they got.
It was a battle. It wasn't a free flowing exhibition attacking football. This was all hands to pump, player to player, physical. There was a lot of fouls in the centre. There was actually a few. Chloe Kelly got a booking and then somehow avoided a second, and then we all got mystified when Lottie picked one up as well for what didn't look like a challenge. And there was much criticism in social media for Leah Williamson's use of a elbow, which didn't. I think at the worst, I think a yellow card, and I wouldn't have. The fact that nothing happened was just, I would say, funny, but it was.
Definitely. Unfortunately, I stumbled upon Chelsea women Twitter.
Oh no!
And their statement is, "How's that not a red?"
Yes, but unfortunately, Leah Williamson has previous for.
Yeah, I know, but Lauren gave it back to her. I don't mean to be funny.
Leah
I know they're England teammates, but they pair of them give as good as they get. They've always have done.
Leah Williams has a history of using her arms against Chelsea, so they're naturally quite bitter about the fact that she, in a different way, shall we say. Those of you without Kings Meadow would understand. It was an interesting game. We know Man City have got a good attack. They got Bunny Shaw, they got Chloe Kelly, they got Lauren Hemp.
It's no easy feat keeping Bunny Shaw quiet.
No,
and she is an incredible player for sure.
Hafieli, who was a monster at the back all game. I mean, just the way she can combine being defensively strong and yet having the audacity to perform a carousel on the halfway line, just bringing some Brazilian flair to the game is just incredible. But we bent free at the back. It's something I had thought we might do, go more defensive and play on the counter. I was very surprised that Jonas actually did it. So, and we saw that in the first 5 minutes how that was going to work when Wienerweiler ran clean through, and it's pretty much our only chance of the half. And unfortunately, she shot straight at McKeever. But what amazed me,
I do wish she had actually scored that.
I know. It was a great moment.
Yeah, there was a little reputation of hers though. She scores and we tend to lose.
That's
so
true.
In a way, it's a kind of a relief, but it's a bit of a disappointment in one go for sure.
It would have kicked off the facilities quite well, and instead it made for a much more sort of nerve-wracking affair. That being said, Man City, their finishing was a bit off really. There was a lot of misses. Kelly had one that went into the stand. We had a lot of D'Angelo had a great game. Another second start in the Conti Cup, and saved everything that came at her airily, tipped crosses away. Shaw, I don't think she ever hit the target. She just blazed over. It was whatever Arsenal did, we're getting the numbers back, certainly defensively. City struggled. There was a lot of possession, and we certainly in the second half, the first half, when they were shooting towards us, it was a bit nerve-wracking seeing the ball ping around the edge of our box. But credit to the way we were set up defensively. I mean, this is the first time this season we've played with a back three, and I remember previous seasons under previous managers when we've done back three. I think of when we lost 4-1 at home to Chelsea and drew 1 all the way at Reading. It's never really gone well, and there was an element of, you could sense an element of unfamiliarity with the formation. I mean, the players were saying they only really started using it earlier in the week, and certainly when we saw us try to play out from the back. Chelsea, where Man City pressed onto us, the ball they couldn't get out. It was very difficult to get out. So half time, gratefully it's 0-0. Only we had the one chance. Man City have looked okay, and then the second half, we started to turn it around a bit, especially when the subs came on.
I know, definitely, but fresh legs always make a difference. I mean, if we look back at the stats for that game, the possession was easily divided straight down the middle, 50-50, and for a semi-cup final, that's what I want to see.
You don't want to see. You don't want to see someone scoring 7 goals against you.
Oh no, definitely not. But you were just talking about the number of shots City had. They had a total of 23. There was only 7 of those were on target. The rest were all off target.
Yeah.
And at one point we did lose a ball over the top of the North Bank, I believe, or it might have landed on the roof.
Yes.
I think that was from Bunny Shaw, which I thought was quite funny. I didn't see where the new ball came from, but it just appeared, and off we went singing off Sabs went again. I mean, it's just City had 8 corners, 1 offside, 3 block shots from Sabrina. But it just wasn't what. And then if you look about throughout the game, the fouls, we committed 11, they committed 10, so it wasn't an easy game.
But there was at no point did they ever fully cut us open to the extent we'll get to the winner obviously later. But there was no point where you think, brilliant passing and movement, wide open. I think there was one moment in the second half, and they got a turnover, and I think it might be Hemp crossing across the Kelly, and Steph Catley would come off the bench, managed to get a footage and just divert it away, because otherwise it would have been tapping. But that was the closest we got open up. Most of the shots Man City had were in distance. They got so frustrated that they couldn't, because their tactic is get it wide to Hemp and Kelly, deliveries short, big, strong, header.
Yeah, straight.
And that never happened. Now, what was interesting is when the subs came on, we brought Stina and Hurtig on, who I think it's quite clear they're coming for some stick after the West Ham game, because they couldn't find the back of the net. And so they came on, Palova and Molekul. Shout out for Molekul for that ridiculous touch on the transition. That was definitely intentional, and that was absolutely magic. And I can't wait to see more of that. That was just brilliant. But it was interesting to see how the formation changed. So we had Ford as the lead striker. She moved out onto the wing. Stina became the focal point, and Hurtig moved on to the opposite wing. And you can see within like a few minutes the change it made, because Stina is an absolute focal point. She drew defenders, and there was a move which came to a really bad miss, but a long ball to Stina. And because the defence focused on her, when they cleared it, McKay suddenly for the first time, had a clear run straight through the Man City midfield. Literally just, and suddenly it was like the first time we'd actually got space in the attack. And the end result was probably one of our best moves of the match. And McKay get the ball in, Ford knocked it back, and Hurtig, I mean, how she hit the crossbar from 2 yards out, we will never know.
It literally hit half the crossbar.
I know.
It's just gone under.
I
think at that point I hung my head in frustration after that. She's been banging on that door for ages, and if you just get that one goal, it will set her alight again, because I can see her confidence diminishing, and it's never good. It's a bit like Stina. Stina had it as well. Yeah. She scored one, and look at the ones at Leeds, the cheeky back heel, the winner of Wednesday night. And it's just that one goal can make a difference.
Well, she scored against Leeds, actually. Got a good header from the corner. She did get there. And I think
it seems like West Ham, and then she probably sees the criticism just as Stina does, because obviously women's football is big, but it's not as big as the men's, as social media and everything else. But there are many opinionated fans out there, and I know Stina and Lena, they just come under so much criticism at the moment.
There's a lot of
when they came on, I think I sat there and said to you, "Oh, here come the Magic Swedes."
This is yeah.
So, they need
a moment.
Please, you've got this. As much as I sit there and joke about Stina always being offside, I don't want her to be offside. I want her to be onside and getting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
Because the number of times it's happened, it's kind of funny now. You don't want to laugh about it, but it's funny.
We had the running joke with Ford as well. Ford is always offside as well, which is, again, another frustration. In fact, that it happens with a lot of our players. We think it's the way we want to play. We do get lured into that. The problem is with Stina and Hurtig is we've gone from Miedemar and Mead to Stina and Hurtig. And that's and unfortunately, Mead's one of the best players on the wing. Miedemar is one of the best strikers in the world. So I said this the other day about Stina, and I'll say it with Hurtig. The transition from A to B, it's always going to be weaker. It's not because Hurtig is a rubbish player. It's just Mead, who, shout out, has been nominated again for another award. And fingers crossed that she wins this one. She's up against Alex Morgan and Alessia Patelis. So it's a good company to be in.
Definitely, but
and also Mead. And also shout out Mead and Miedemar are back at London Colony and are back in the gym. So again, photos came out.
I did see a video of Viv walking with no crutches and no thing around her knee, and I'm like, yes. She posted it on her personal Instagram. So that is very, very exciting.
Fingers crossed she starts the weekend.
World Cup return, maybe? No. Or am I getting ahead of myself?
Absolutely. I would rule both of them out for the World Cup.
I am. I'm just dreaming for Beth to go back to the World Cup. It'd be worth getting up at 4 a.m. to watch those games for sure.
I don't think she'll go to the World Cup, and I think it'd be wrong if she did. But that's just much based on the injury and the close. It's too soon. But with Hurtig, you can see she needs confidence. She's basically starting her Arsenal career post-Christmas because of the injury. She's never had a chance to settle, get into the rhythm, because if by now you'd expect her with 4 months of games, you'd have thought by now she'd maybe come off the bench, had some games, had some run time. No, it's not happened. And you saw there was and with 5 minutes to go, when once Beattie come on, once Maritza come on, suddenly Arsenal were under pressure and we had chances. Hurtig's header, I mean, it all look of a person who was just hoping it was going to go in. There was just no conviction in the technique. It was just all the balls coming to me. I've just got there was no confidence in the shot, and it just went wide, and it just doubles down on that anxiety of And I felt so sorry for her. If full of confidence, because she's good aerially, full of confidence, she gets that 85th minute winner. She's the hero, and we all love Hurtig, and hopefully her form picks up. Stina again had some great chances right at the end. She had that a swiveling shot, which I think McKeever, great save. Was very unlucky when McKeever dropped the ball. That had us very anxious, trying everything to drag that ball over the line, but it wasn't to be. And then I think she had a header from the corner at the end. But what the good thing was with that moment, we had the momentum going into extra time. I mean, it was 0-0, it was another 0-0, and crucially, we were able to take advantage of it. And we know Jonas wants a high pressing side. He wants people, to win the transitions high up and counter. And my feeling was, we're moving to the back three, and the way we're setting up, it's just going to be a case of playing how to win with what we've got, rather than how Jonas wants us to play. And there's sort of an irony that actually the goal came in a very Jonas manner, which was Lotte Mornham, who had another great game, pinching the ball high up on a defence who probably knackered after 90 minutes. And suddenly, unfortunately, we couldn't probably see it because we were at the other end of the pitch. But suddenly, it was quick, it was incisive, it was pass to Hurtig, quick pass to Stina, one goal.
I got to be honest with you, I lost track of that ball. All I saw was that net ripple in the back, and I absolutely jumped off the stand.
An actual goal from open play. It was just limbs. Just all of a sudden, it was just, you're just hoping, you can see something's about to happen, and you just think, do it, just get that ball in the net. And then, of course, after that, we had 27 glorious minutes of chewing our nails.
I'd say more excruciating for me, because the amount of shots. There was one with Stina. There was two defenders and the keeper in front of her. All she had to do was tap it through the back of her legs, and it would have been 2-0. And we're sitting there. She's tapped it, and then it went out. And I was sitting there going, "Oh my god!" They just can't, because her confidence had went up to the next level. She went, "Oh yeah, I fancy another goal. Let's do it." And City just panicked. I've never seen Alex Greenwood so tired. She was absolutely knackered. She was getting cramp. I know Katie got cramp through that game as well.
Katie had probably the best game of her season so far.
Yes, she
absolutely
has. And she didn't get a yellow card.
She didn't get a yellow, and she got player of the match. And I mean, I would say,
100%.
Raffaele and Sabrina. Shouted to Sabrina chance every time Sabrina made a save. That was absolutely amazing, and long may it continue. But those two were brilliant on the night. But McCabe, I've always been a bit. I think she struggled this season trying to find a place for her. But playing her as a wing back with her attacking prowess, but also her defensive know-how, she just ran at left wing. I mean, the delivery she was getting in constantly throughout the night was terrific. And what I say to Arsenal's credit is, in previous games against Chelsea and Man United, we've chucked away goals very late on, which has lost us wins and lost us draws. And this time around, Man City, the balls are coming in, and we had Jen Beattie back there with experience. We had Raffaele, who was good in the air. I'm just heading away, clearing away, just nothing. They just it was limbs of a line, everybody behind the ball, everyone defending with a back five effectively, because that's what you can do with a 3-4-3. You can drop your wing fullbacks back. And it was a really courageous, brave performance against a team. I think they were saying they're on a 16-match unbeaten run, and we're the holders. And despite being in fourth place, are a good side. There's a lot of talent in there. And then they were able to bring on Fowler. They were able to bring on Rassa, who scored in the cup final last year, the FA Cup final. Real talent, fresh legs, and we were able to see them off. We're through. We're through to the cup final in the season that looks like it's going. Certainly with WSL with the injuries, and so where we're struggling a bit to get to some silverware would be just golden. It would rescue the season. And of course, the team we've got to play is, of course, Chelsea. To do
you know what? I just wish West Ham had pretended they were playing us again.
I know.
It was like you see the fixture and you just know. Yeah, you don't even have to watch the game. And I didn't watch the game because I knew who was going to win.
No, I thought, you never know. And then the moment it went to 3-0, I just turned it off. I said, I've got better things to do. I've got better things to do this evening. No, seriously, because I was doing some written work for this. But it's like, I've got better things to do than watch Sam Kerr score a hat-trick and just the West Ham fans just come on by. Yes, we'll let the door open. So I'm thinking, where was this open door policy to defending, when we played them, only the previous. But anyway, that's the
thing. As I said, why couldn't you pretend you were playing us?
It was just.
I know. I'm not Sam Kerr's biggest fan, but I will never deny she's an incredible talent. She can get goals out of nowhere. But when you leave it like that, she's going to have a field day.
I mean,
and she did when it got to 3-0.
The rocket she scored when I basically turned my TV off. I mean, the space, just like it was just absolutely criminal. So, I mean, but I say though, our defence, we were able to hold off Bunny Shaw, so they've got to do the same against Sam Kerr. Will Jonas do the same, back three, a bit more training behind it? Maybe that'll be the way we go forward. I mean, I was thinking like how Arteta won the FA Cup those few years ago by going for a back three, by pragmatic, defensive counter-attacks. You just need to make sure you've got a prolific player who can get the goals in. And, you know, for us, it was Uber with the men's team. Not sure who it will be with the women's team. Maybe, you know, Jodson Morning might be the one, or maybe one of our new signings. But it was good to see us adopt a new formation and obviously get the win, and hope Stina will get confidence from it. We'll need it, especially if we play them again this weekend. So it's round two. Yeah.
How do I put this? It's battle of the city at the moment, isn't it? Really. Again, we're just playing them again. I mean, like we've got a pretty hard run of fixtures at the moment.
It's mad.
I think instead of just looking ahead for me at the moment, we just have to take it game by game.
What's mad is we've got the women's
focus on the next one. Like Jonas has said, I don't know if you caught his interview before the cup final Wednesday, and he said someone asked him about how do you feel about playing City back to back in the cup and then in the WSL. He said, well, I'm just going to focus on one game at a time. You can't look at both games at the same time.
No, you can't.
Especially against the same team.
You can't treat them. I mean, there is an element of like you don't want to reveal all your races, but at the same time, you have to sort of think, they're two separate games. Just happen to be against the same team. You have to be good enough to be able to win both games. You can't try and think, oh, I've got to outwit them. So no, you've got to be good enough to win both of them. And thankfully, on the Wednesday, we were good enough to play them. In a way of how these fixtures work, we played Man City. We played Man City last Wednesday, the women's team. We played the Man City women at the weekend. And then next Wednesday, we played the men's team at the Emirates Stadium against Man City. And then we have Chelsea, and then we have Chelsea again in the Conti Cup. And then it's just madness how it's all lined up for us. We've got Man City, Chelsea for our women's team, with an international break somewhere in the middle where there's some cup called the Arnold Clark Cup. Never heard of it.
Featuring that's a shame. England are the holders.
Yeah, they are. I mean, with Millie Bright as top scorer. I mean, fancy that.
Oh come on, Rafael Yali's better than Millie Bright. We've already got a song about it. We know this.
I tell you what, there was a few corking songs. One of the ones that did get noticed was, of course, the one about going to Crawley. I
really did like that one. It was a massive dig.
Yeah.
And I thought, I love it. But sometimes the pitch being frozen, you can't really do anything about it.
No.
You just can't, unfortunately. If the said the game was at the Emirates, the pitch could be heated.
Yeah.
But when you're playing on the types of pitches that we've got, you've got no choice. I mean, there was a game for us at home a couple of weeks ago, could have been cancelled. I think it was Villa, because the pitch could have froze over because it was so cold.
It was.
But thankfully, it wasn't. And thanks to TFL, I missed that game, which I am absolutely livid about.
No,
and I still haven't quite forgiven them.
But you did get to this one, so it sort of evens out.
I know. It did. But I really, really, really wanted to see Miss Daly as a striker.
Yeah.
For Villa, playing with Jordan, and as much as I love seeing my girls every week, I do have soft spots for certain England players.
Yeah.
I think they're brilliant all-round players as they are. So I talk about players like Daly. I talk about. Well, Jordan's always going to be one of our own, so she's exception to the cause. But like players like Stanway, and they're exciting to watch. They always will be, because I was at that final. I got to all the games I could through the Euros, and you just keep tabs on them. I even keep tabs on Leslie Russo. I absolutely adore her.
Everyone loves Russo. So
unless she scores against us, then it's a different story.
Well, yeah, which she seems to do a lot, unfortunately. So,
yes,
but
she does. But I've got to admit, there is a couple of good ones in there.
There are, absolutely.
But, no. So we've coming up. We've got City, and then we've got a little bit of a break. We're going into Chelsea.
Yeah.
Chelsea back to back. Kings Meadow, and then at Selhurst Park.
Yeah.
Then we've got Reading at Meadow Park, and then we go on to Bayern Munich away, and then we've got Spurs away, which I am looking forward to. I'm very excited. That's going to be my first away game. Very excited.
So Spurs away, I think, was my first away game with Arsenal as well last season, and that didn't go well at all. We got so lucky. I mean, as much as we should have won it, the fact we had to, it was a 90th minute, just, I mean, you look back on that season thinking, where were the points dropped? And you look at that game, you just think, look at that one, you think that was probably one of them. So hopefully we can correct that. Although they have got obviously Manu Ibuchi and Beth England in the team. So yeah, and Drew Spence.
I think what is crazy at the moment is we've also got City straight after Bayern Munich again. At Meadow Park for WSL.
Yes, we've got Man City away and Man City at home. The fixtures aren't just cruel at the moment. I mean, we will get a decent run at some point.
There will be, The definitely thing is we've got to wait for the reschedule of Liverpool as well, because Liverpool was on that 5th of March on the Sunday.
Oh yes, because of the Conti Cup. Yes, we've got the reschedule of Brighton and we've got the reschedule of Liverpool. So that we get these. We've got the weekend game coming up is obviously the one that was cancelled at the start of the season.
Yes.
So we finally get this game in hand that we've had the whole season, and then we're going to have 2 games in hand that we've got to wait to reschedule.
Yes.
So I just don't think we're ever going to know who was actually in the lead the whole time until the season comes to an end. There are just so many extra games in circulation. It's getting ridiculous.
No, definitely. No, 100%. I mean, you can never be sure. When things are like this, you can never be sure of the tables.
No.
I mean, you look at the moment, Chelsea are sitting top with 12 games. And at 31 points, we've only got 11 and we've got 26, and we've still got 2 games in hand.
It's crazy.
It's actually insane.
Should also add on, obviously, as much as an Arsenal podcast, we don't like to mention Chelsea. On the topic of Chelsea, with our FA Cup game coming up at Kingsmeadow, sadly the tickets are sold out for that. However, it has been, as I think we all expected, it has become the TV pick, which will be live on BBC Two. So make sure you tune in.
But with that, it was never in doubt. I'm glad it's the BBC Two, right? But when you've got the 2 biggest, one of the biggest teams in London, which is Red,
Wink,
playing on the telly, playing the second largest team.
But it's not on the red button. It's actually on BBC Two. It's actually on proper terrestrial. So that's the thing.
Nice and easy watching for that then.
Yeah.
As much as I love watching the FA player, my internet doesn't like it.
No, it doesn't. So it'll be it's on the BBC Two. So make sure you tune in and watch that one. Yeah. And I think the Conti Cup will probably also be on the BBC. I think it was last season. So 2 big Chelsea games going. I was just also with the Conti Cup final, tickets are on sale. Get them on the Crystal Palace website. Sadly, you will have to become a member of the Crystal Palace ticketing scheme in order to get it, which is just bonkers and one of the many.
No, it is. It's just so they can send emails. It's absolutely ridiculous. Do you know what I did? I'll be honest with you. I just signed up with an email I don't use. I have it. I do check it, but I don't want to be spammed by a Palace ticket. No. I'm not a Palace fan. I am an Arsenal fan.
I may try and tick the box.
I think that's really unfair.
It is unfair.
Really do.
I'm
the Arsenal and Chelsea and I do feel like Arsenal should have sold them on their own website. Let Palace sell the neutrals. Fine.
Yeah.
When it comes to the home and away ends, they should be doing them.
Give us allocation, and then we'll buy our own tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a frustration. We've got because I've had to sign up to Spurs and Chelsea, and I still get emails from Ajax from my trip abroad, saying, "Oh, do you want this game?" I think no. Juventus had to sign up for as well, and I will probably have to sign up for Bayern Munich as well. It is being worked on. There are attempts to make away allocations, but it's not automatic. There's a lot of people who have to do a lot of work behind the scenes to make it happen.
Oh yeah, no, of course, I understand that, but it just makes sense for our own clubs to be selling our tickets.
It does.
Eventually, as the game grows, it's going to get bigger like that and have the same system as the men's does. But it's just a case of waiting and being patient with it. I'm not a patient person.
No, I'm the
same.
know
that. You see me at games, I'm sitting there, get it in the net. I'm sitting there getting frustrated, but I'm also not taking out on the team. I'm just pushing them. Come on, let's do it. I will sit there. I mean, I've just got my voice back. I'm expecting it to go croaky. I sat there and sang for nearly 2 hours. I stamped my feet on that stand. I made sure I was heard.
Yeah, we heard you when that TikTok came out of Chloe Kelly picking the corner flag, which was very
that needs
funny.
To be talked about actually. Chloe Kelly and the corner flag.
That was very, very funny.
I don't know how she did that corner flag.
I think Timo Werner did it for Chelsea a few years ago. I swear I saw a clip of that happening with this swipe through.
But I don't know how she did it because we were standing right behind her and she just kicked the flag. I mean, how do you do that? The ball is in front of you.
Luckily, she didn't kick the ball as well. Unluckily.
That is very lucky for her. I will say that. But
it was very fun. It happened in front of us. But yes, with the Conti Cup final, no one's seen, obviously it is at Selhurst Park. It's not at Wembley like the League Cup. So it's sort of a throwback to how the FA Cup used to run. We're just floating around guest stadiums, and one does wonder what the future does hold for this tournament, because it does have its oddities with group stages rather than knockouts, and European teams getting a bye to the quarterfinals. So we only have to win 2 matches, or 3 matches, sorry. 2 matches to get to the final, 3 matches to win a trophy, which just seems bizarre. So, and hardly any of the games are broadcast. You can't. It's a struggle to watch any of the Conti Cup games. I mean, during lockdown, you could not actually watch them. You had to rely on people giving you Twitter updates, which was a unique experience. So yes, it's the Conti Cup. As much as we cheer about the WSL and the great coverage Sky give us and the BBC give us and the FA on the side, the cup competition like the FA Cup and the Conti Cup, I feel, are being neglected somewhat and do need better coverage. We only get 1 live game. Arsenal, Chelsea are going to be on the BBC, but all the other games, some might be on the FA Player, some you may not even see at all. Some will be streamed on the club's own website.
But at the moment, the way things are going, I think it's at that right level for me. Like, obviously, this is Arsenal bias coming out from me now, guys. I am sorry. Obviously, with the Arsenal, and teams like Arsenal, Chelsea, we've had our women's teams for a very, very long time. We have been top flight football. One of us is European champions. I am going to reference that again because I can.
Should make that clear.
Sorry, I will stop going on about it. So I've said too many times in this episode, and I know I will get some sticks from someone somewhere. But we've been around for a very long time, and I do think we're the ones who should be on TV. No disrespect to the smaller teams. Like, it's a bit like the Leeds game. You look at the level. Leeds did play very well, but they only train twice a week, and that is not enough to come up against a team that plays 5 days a week, that trains 5 days a week, I should say, not plays, trains. And you could see the difference. I mean, look how far Pelova was out for her first Arsenal goal. Yeah. You can see the level and difference. And I don't want to disrespect the smaller teams, but
yeah, you can also argue if Arsenal won if that game had been televised, then those Leeds teams would have got the chance to have been filmed on the BBC, and that would have been amazing for them. Like in the men's FA Cup, where a team, a non-league team gets through and gets the wonder draw, like Wrexham playing Sheffield, and suddenly they're a televised game. What needs to happen is there needs to be more televised games of that David versus Goliath clashes. Now, you never. The way the women's team are at the moment, you're very rarely going to get David conquering Goliath. Unfortunately, it's just going to be a cricket score every time.
Yeah, exactly. Leeds.
But yeah, you like Leeds, but at least you're getting them on the TV and they're getting their moment and TV revenue and all the stuff that comes with it.
Yeah.
So many teams, they'll get in the FA Cup and they'll be hidden away on a stream somewhere and we'll never see them again. So there needs to be more coverage. And something needs to be looked at, because obviously the BBC are juggling with also having the men's FA Cup at the same time. So that's big ITV. So yeah, it needs looking at. And
I do think ITV need to get involved with the women's.
Well, they do the men's international games.
Yeah, they do internationals, but I'm talking about cups.
Yes.
Then it balances it out. Some of us want to watch the women's, some of us want to watch the men's. They're on at the same time. It can be done. There's 2 channels.
There's definitely a market for it. They definitely could do a juggling thing. Most of the time they hide them on ITV4 anyway. But if they're on a channel, they've got 4.
The pits of the TV guide. It's not great.
No, it's not great. But they could do it. Or get DAZN in. DAZN, who are doing great stuff for the Champions League. And they've already picked up the Spanish league rights.
There's even an opportunity for European football as well.
Yeah.
Like, albeit most people don't know most of these teams have women's teams, and for me, the first European women's team I heard about was Barcelona, and we all know how good they are.
They beat Chelsea 4-0 in the final once. But
is that a Chelsea reference again?
Again, no, it's a Barcelona reference.
Get a lot of stick tonight.
But it does make you wonder, how would it sound if Clive Tilsley was doing the commentary with alongside Andy Townsend on an Arsenal Women's Champions League match?
I think Townsend would be a bit lost, to be fair. He'd be very quiet. It'd be a bit like sitting next to Jermaine Janus when he don't know what he's talking about.
In fairness, you'll probably end up getting Sam Matterface and Lee Dixon instead. So, just
don't give me nightmares. That face just then was me in my head screaming, no.
No.
I listen to that man enough and he irritates me. It takes about 10 minutes where I sit there and watch the game on mute if I'm watching the game at home. I can't do it. I'll be honest with you.
Now, I'm more of a fan of Peter Drury. Give you Peter Drury on comms any day. The man can paint a Renaissance masterpiece with his words.
I mean, I think the other day I saw the Man United Arsenal commentary he did, and it's just like pre-match, and they're all like coming out the tunnel. It's just it makes you feel electric.
It does. I mean,
his commentaries.
It is a shame we struggle to hear from him because obviously he commentates abroad. And I know we're now leaning into Arsenal men, even though it's an Arsenal women's podcast.
Yes, I do apologise.
But one of the great things about our men's season, which they are doing great at the moment, is that he's been commentating on some of our most amazing matches, which has just sort of amplified the amazingness even more. So, yes, long may that continue. Maybe that's what we need. We need to get Peter Drury to do commentary on our women's games.
Although our regular women's WSL commentator, I like him.
Seb Hutchinson's really good.
Yes, I do really enjoy Seb Hutchinson. And he's made a point this season of saying Frida Leonard.
So Michael McCann
which is great.
So Michael McCann brought that to everyone's attention, and fair play to him. Another one, great guided commentary. And I like Adam Summerton, and thankfully, sadly, BT lost the rights, but he's thankfully still doing the Champions League matches. And again, he's a brilliant voice for women's football, and Seb Hutchinson's as well. But obviously, shout out to the likes of Pian Mullenstein, who did it, the commentary at the in the Conti Cup and did a great job, and the likes of obviously Vicky Sparks and Robin Cowan. There's lots of really good commentators in women's football, and which is great to see, because that wasn't the case, I would say, maybe say 10, 15 years ago. But there's some really good voices out there doing some great work and being great champions of a sport, and they deserve a shout out for their work. But yeah, imagine Peter Drury on a Champions League final. Just something that would be magical, wouldn't it?
Oh, that'd be beautiful. That'd be beautiful. That would be absolutely beautiful. Just goosebumps. And he would put the effort in to study for it, sort of thing, and get to know the players.
And it's a moment in time. Leah Williamson, the childhood led, steps up. Now the girl becomes a woman.
Can you imagine his commentary on that pass she did at West Ham?
I know.
I've watched that about 80, 90 times now, and it just doesn't get old. Just straight over to Frida, I think it was. Oh God,
like a golf chip wedge.
It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But I think we've kind of wandered off now. I'm going to get back to the game that we have coming up tomorrow at 12:30. The girls are probably already up in Manchester tonight.
Yep.
What is the mindset before this game?
It's
especially
fascinating.
After that really hard 1-0 win. There's not a single sign of AET. It's all for 3 points.
It's a fascinating dynamic, because obviously in some sense we've played our hand because we've won. So it's the old, it's like how that Wrexham player having to take a penalty again. Do you do the same as you before, or do you try something different? I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't win this game because we won the Wednesday one. Obviously we drew it last season when Tobin Heath got a late equaliser. Yes.
I've actually seen a picture of her on a scooter doing the rounds on our field. I don't know if anybody's seen that, but that did crack me up.
Very, very funny. But what's interesting is, one of the things we haven't mentioned about the other night's game, is Leah Volti was on the bench back from injury, and we didn't need to bring her off the bench. Now, I think she will come in for this game. I think she. Oh,
definitely. I think she'll get about 45 minutes. Her coming back from injury. I'm quite excited to see Wally back. Very, very, very excited. Don't get me wrong. I liked Leah in midfield, but I want her back with Rafaeli.
Yeah. Well,
I feel more secure with the pair of them at the centre back. I love them. There's no disrespect to Jen, no disrespect to Lotta.
No.
Them two, just my number ones at the minute. I just feel more comfortable, more relaxed, and they will keep Bunny Shaw quiet.
Oh,
I really
they will.
do feel that they will.
I think
Rafaeli will be borrowing Kieran Tierney's Tesco bag at this rate and putting her in it again for the second time, I think. I will enjoy that, but I'm going to back the girls for a draw. If we win, I will eat my humble pie and I will celebrate. and be very very happy going off to the Brentford game tomorrow.
I would be happy with a win because we haven't won at the City Ground, the Academy Stadium, since Jordan Nobbs scored a rather good free kick in the Spring Series in 2017, which always does the rounds.
It's been a long time coming.
It's been a long time. We need to get a win at some point. It is
Spring 2023 on the horizon. Oh,
absolutely.
Good omen.
Good omen, exactly. So hopefully we can get a win, which will do wonders for our confidence and maybe get our season back on track.
Does Stina get the start?
I think she does. I just think
over Catherine Cole or Ford.
No, I think we'd go. I think we'd go probably Ford on one wing and then either Pelova or Hurtig on the other, depending on how maybe Jonas sees it. I think Ford, once she moves onto the wing, I felt on the Conti Cup game, she was much more effective as a winger than she was as a forward. She can play the forward role well, but I think she's better as a forward coming in from the wing.
Definitely.
How Salah
she rolls off Frida so much easier.
Yeah,
especially when people are picking out the cross to that side of the pitch.
Yeah, like how Salah and Mane during the peak of Klopp were
how
forwards,
they used to work.
Well, yeah, exactly, running in from the wing. So I think that's how to play it, and I think we'll have Leo Walty back. I mean, it's been noted how so many times last season our worst results, Wolfsburg away, Birmingham away, were where Walty just wasn't there. And having her back is absolutely critical. And if we can have her back alongside Kim Little with Liot and Mornham in the middle, that's okay. And then we can have a Hafe Williamson partnership. Williamson was obviously back, but in a 3 the other night, but she'll be back as a 2. But you never know. He might stick with a 3. It worked. He might think with Volty and maybe a Volty Little midfield partnership with a back 3 and maybe having Veenroy to make a wing backs. Maybe that's how we'll go. We'll just have to wait and see.
Exactly. Are you heading up there on Saturday? No.
I'm
going to. Are you giving the old blood pressure a break?
I am, because the whole thing was just obviously a mess, and the fact that we've got 2 Arsenal games tomorrow to keep a track of. I'm going to be following them from the safety of my own home, and hoping both Arsenals can bring home 6 points, and go from there.
Let's hope it's a 6-point header again, because I do enjoy a 6 point a weekend.
Yeah,
it's always a good weekend. You walk into the office amongst the Chelsea fans, and you're right.
Yeah.
And it's just scowls all around. It's great. More so for the men's football than the girls, but hey ho. But yeah, it's just great at the moment. But thank you for joining us me tonight, Adam. It has been an absolute pleasure as always.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank everybody who's listened and tuned in. Make sure you like and share the video. If you really enjoyed it, make sure you drop us a subscribe. And we will be back next week. Just keep an eye on my Twitter, which is at Lottie_AWFC_ to know when the next episode will be uploaded. From me and Adam, it is good night and good evening, and we'll see you next week.
Good night.